developing it. So there are a few files which I have to develop, like budget calculator, event suggestion, and checklist. But I have created a basic AI agent to manage an event. And if you want the code for this project, it would be in my GitHub. The link will be provided in the description. Make sure that you start that GitHub repo, and yeah, make sure that you subscribe, like, and comment. And yeah, let me know what I can make in future. And if you want updated version of it with a budget calculator checklist, please let me know in comment section so that I get a motivation to develop it. But in today's video, we will just go through how I developed event management AI agent, and what are the process, what are the file and folder structure for it, and how you can do it. What is the tech stack? As you can see, I'm using React with Expo to develop this agent so that we can actually use this project in our Android application, in our Android and iOS also. And because it's React, so it also supports web, so it's cross-platform. So yeah, let's do this. Let's have some explanation on this code. So the main, I think the bare bone and the heavy lifting, heavy duty code for this project would be this file, which is our ChatGPT form, because this will connect to our ChatGPT API, which will fetch us the response. So let me first tell you what the structure of this project is. So I have made in our event management AI, I have there is a source folder. Inside source folder, I have made components folder, navigation folder, screens folder, utilities folder, or utils folder, and it is connected by app.js, and it's a our entry point would be index.js. So I hope that's clear. So what's the function of each of our folders? So our screens folder, obviously it will hold the screens, different screens. Like there is a home screen for our project, which a user will be shown once it starts the project. Then if you want to add details about yourself, there is a contact screen. I have put some dummy data inside it. So here it is, like it's a I made this screen and I have put some dummy data like email and some contact number, which is like one number 1 to 10 in reverse only. Then we want our response to be on some another screen, because once we will develop this and fine tune this in future, so it will actually fetch a good amount of information, and I want to show that information in a structural way. That's why I have created an AI response screen. And as you can see here, it takes three actually, three states, which is input, response, and loading. And let me explain what we are doing here real quick. So basically what I'm saying, that obviously there is some input which user will give. So get as an input and set it to input. But the initial state of the initial what you will say value of that state would be empty. So when once a user will open that input field, so there is nothing. After a user have inputted something, set that to our input. So there's this state. Then obviously when response, once there is no input, obviously there is no response. So the initial state of a response is also empty here. And also if the app is loading for the first time, so the loading will be not there. So initial loading would be set to false. So once a user has opened our app for the first time, there is no loading. After there is some input or response delay, there must be some sort of loading there to show user, okay, that we are fetching our response from API. So I have used React Native features like view, text input, touch, opacities, activity indicator, style sheets. These are inbuilt in our React Native library only. And we are also we have made an API file which is in our utils, which is here. And we are using generate response from there, generate response function from our util API from there. And yeah, here we are asking for input in a handle generate. So basically, obviously, it would be async function. So what is an async function? It is a function which can run parallelly to another function. Like we don't want to stop certain things just because a function is getting completed. If a user wants to input something, he should able to input that thing. If there is some response in background which is getting generated, it should not hinder the performance of our input. So we have a async function there, that's why. Then we will obviously, after entering the prompt, set loading to true, because we want some sort of loading screen there, loading time there. The initial set response is empty as usual. Then here we will store our like we will take our input which we got from here, and give it to generate response, which is in our api.js, and in the form of AI resource. So say we are getting our we are taking our input and giving it to our api.js. Then after doing that, get the response which is from api.js, and set loading to false. Once we get the response, obviously everything has been done behind the scenes and we just have to show the response. So at that time, set loading to false. And this is just styling how you want to make it look like. It's basically I'm making here a text input field, and I'm making here like a touch opacity I'm putting, and I'm uh, using an event here, like on press event. So once a button is pressed, it should execute a handle generator function. Then after that, obviously here we are if there is no response, or there is we are basically handling errors and everything, and making sure that we get the response before we show the response, and then we show in a correct way. And this is our styling part of it. So here I'm creating a text field, background color, padding, alignment, width, and everything. And this is your how you want your component to be shown on user interface. So this is very basic right now. You can obviously expand on it and make it like UI and UX very good, and integrate haptic sensors also. So that would be great. If you want to do, you can expand on this. So as you have seen that the most important file in our project is our API.js. So let's go on our API.js. So API.js, what it will do, as you can see here is our generate response function, and it is taking prompt, which is our input, right? It is going through like it will take our API key, which I have stored in .env, and you should never put your API key directly into a code file, because if let's say for in by mistake you public it, this code gets public, then your API key would also get public. So always store your API key in .env, and mention .env in git ignore, so that when you push this code on git, your API key is safe. So I'm taking our API key, and I'm saying if there is no API key, then show the message that API key is missing. But if there is an API key, so we want a response. So this is a function which actually is given by ChatGPT only. Like what it is doing, it is basically going to api.openai.com chat completion function. It is using a post method. If you know, there is a post put delete method in API, and get method also. And it will it is actually showing that we want a JSON type content. So basically in a key value pair. Then authorization, it will see that our API key is valid or not, which it will take from here. And then it will stringify, because we are getting our response in key value pair, so in JSON file. So we want it to be in a string format so that we can show to the user and format it. So we will stringify, we will make a JSON file as a string. We are using GPT 3.5 turbo model. You can use 40, like 401, O1 mini, whatever you like, based on your requirement. Then there is a role of a user assistant. If I'm not wrong, I'm choosing a user role. It will show the chat GPT interface that the person which is using this API key is actually assigned a role of user, and it will give our input, which is prompt to chat GPT API. And you can actually generate if you want 300 max tokens. Tokens are basically a number of letters which you want your response to have. Like the larger the amount of letters, the larger the response is, but the cost of API increases with every token. Like it's very minimal, but on the larger scale of thing it would like increase quite a bit. So I'm using 150, which is like I think 2 3 paragraphs of um, I think response. Then it will just take this function and generate a response. After our response is generated, it will give it to us uh, here in data. If there is some error in generating a response, then it will show an error, that there is an error message, there is a there is an error in your data, or there is a fetching error there. So these two lines means or, and or. So basically and is your S type letter and this is or. So either this or this message will be thrown. But if this is not the case, it will return our data. So what I'm doing here, I'm basically storing it to 0th index. And if you don't know what this question mark means, it's a shorthand for if then else. So let's say return data choice to this index if this message is there and if content is trim. If this case is satisfied, then return it, or return no response from AI. So we will get our message back once this condition is satisfied. Or if this condition is not satisfied, catch an error and show that error and the error message which our API will give. So we have discussed about API, which is the most important part of this our AI agent. We have discussed about API response screen. So let's go on component and go on chat GPT form, which will have like your UI, some sort of basic UI. As usual, again, input, response, and loading. Like we have discussed in API response screen also, we will have some sort of input, we will have some sort of response, will have some sort of loading time. So once first time when user will open the app, there will be no input, there will be no response. In loading would be false. Again, we will handle our generate, and we will send it to our APIs part of it. And then here again we are doing some like we are making an input field. And this is a placeholder is basically what you look like certain sort of hint which is given in input field, that is this. On change text, so what we are doing, we are putting uh, input in our value, where from where we are getting our input, we are getting our input from here. So basically we are putting an input in our text field. And once we click on a button, so it will set that input. So basically we will put that input, and once the button is clicked, we will set that input. Again, this is all button things, like there will be buttons. So basically we want some opacity to our button, we want some style to our button. So here it is. And once like a button is pressed, handle generate function will be triggered, which is from our API response api.js file. Then this is what it will be on button, like the text on button. You can change whatever, like this thing to whatever you like planet, you can say planet, do it, or something, whatever you like. So this is a loading indicator. Like if you want to have a small indicator, you can go for small, large, medium. Change the color of an indicator also. Okay, then again same, if there is no response, so and there is some like uh, error in your response, then show an error. If not, just show the response. And this is the styling part of it. We are using style sheet from React to create a container label input. So basically this input field will have width of 100%, padding of 10%, border width of 1 border radius of 10, color border of, so you can mix and match whatever you like. If you want to make your own, let's say, themed application, you can change colors and width and everything here. And yeah, this is the styling part of it. Then we are exporting that to back to our uh, we are exporting ChatGPT form. And why we are exporting? Because we are connecting everything using navigation. So this is our main navigator file. So what here I'm doing, I'm just providing like I'm importing screens here, and I'm providing a navigation through React navigation. So basically when once if a user wants to go on home, it will navigate to home screen, about screen, AI screen, and contact screen from here. So we have talked about ChatGPT form. We have talked about um our this main navigation. We talked about AI response screen. We have talked about API JS file, which is the backbone of this AI agent. So these are screen I have to develop. Budget calculator I have to develop. Right now I have not written anything. I have to develop reminder and checklist. So these will be like in future I will develop this and all, and make this application more dynamic and broad in a way. uh, let's go on entry point of our application, which is app.js. So what it is doing, it is obviously using the navigator from React navigation to navigate, and it is like also importing main navigation from our navigation folder. So what it will do, it will like navigate to main navigator, so that it can have all the routes of every screen. So after we so once we open the application, it will go on index.js here, which will navigate to app.js here. This will go to navigation.js and give all the path of the file using React navigation here. And right now we have AI screen, content screen, about screen, and everything. So the heavy lifting is done by our API. So getting response and generating response is done by our API, which is in our utils file. And to show that we have our this AI response screen there, and to interact with it, we have our Chat GPT form screen. So that's how you can make an AI event planner agent. And if you want to access this code, if you want to look uh, for this code and download this code, it would be on my GitHub. The link will be in the description provided below in this video. And um yeah, go ahead and download it. Tell me what we can do, and make sure that you star it. And also comment, share, subscribe, and like. I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Peace.